Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of No Title Needed. We are coming to you from the beautiful Feinstein's Cabaret here at the Hotel Carmichael in Carmel, Indiana, US of A. I'm Cynthia Collins.
And I'm Scott Osborne.
We are
Your host.
your co-hosts.
Co-hosts.
And hosts.
And hosts.
And today we have a wonderful guest, Marianne Glick. How are you?
I'm great.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate it. And now I know that you're a huge philanthropist. You're huge into philanthropy. Everyone knows this that knows you. You run in pretty wide circle, from what I know. We know some of the same people, but and they're all great, wonderful people. But of course, as we were talking before we started here, we're talking about your dad,
Yes.
Gene Glick, and you said, well, to talk about philanthropy and your involvement in it is
You can't do it without talking about my dad.
just can't do it without that, right? And I mean, obviously you were raised this way
Yes.
from your father.
Yes.
But that doesn't always mean that.
You're going to do it.
That's right. That's right.
That's true.
You know? And so what made you continue almost not his legacy? Well, in a way.
In a way. So certainly TeenWorks, which is, I'm chairing the board of TeenWorks, which is a youth employment program for underserved youth. And my father in 1981, the very first thing he did after he started the foundation, our private foundation, is started a group called Pro 100, which served 100 underserved students in Indianapolis, giving them their first job. So when they're in high school, freshman or sophomore in high school, a summer job. And back then it was called Pro 100 because there were 100 kids and they worked on city golf courses. Beautifying the golf course. And he would, when you could still fly in a helicopter without security, he would actually land a helicopter at these golf courses to check on the progress of the sites. And I was involved pretty early on with him because I did training. So I would train the supervisors who were training the kids in the summer. So in addition to work experience, they got professional development. So how to work as a team, how to resolve conflict, how to value yourself.
Yeah.
And so that was a program. It was run by the Children's Bureau. And when my dad became ill, I got more involved. And it really wasn't on Children's Bureau's mission. And also, it was down to 70 kids. We weren't on golf courses anymore. No one could really explain why it was called Pro 100.
Okay.
And I felt like it was such a good program and really changed the lives of these children. And so I thought we needed to scale this. So in order to scale, we needed to have it become its own 501, its own not-for-profit,
Right.
501c3.
Sure.
And so in 2016, it became TeenWorks.
Okay.
Better branding the Pro 100 because it's teens working, so it
spells it out.
Kind of spells it out.
Yeah.
And so I've been the chairman of the board for that organization. So we went from 70 kids in Indianapolis. This summer we will have 650 students in Indianapolis, Anderson, Muncie, and Fort White.
Oh, that's great.
And not only do we have a summer program, we now have professional development throughout the year for the students. And we've got an alumni services. So we provide guidance to help them determine a career, get them into college.
Yeah.
We provide over $500,000 in scholarship funds for students each year. And we are seeing so many of our students now not only go to college, so I'd say 80% of our students continue on to college. And of those, 70% are completing on time.
Wow.
And these are all first-gen low income students going to high and completing. So if you look at the national statistics, we're like 3 times better than any other national statistics. So we are really changing lives of these children.
Yeah. You know, you said the self-worth.
Right.
That is so important. That can carry a person, obviously, through many things, right? Because some of these kids, if they come from broken homes,
Right.
You know, not the greatest home life, you know, not great mentors, you know.
Yes.
So what is that alumni group playing? Is that, so these are people through the program originally that are now giving back to it?
So many of our students that go to college come back and they are assistant supervisors in the summer.
Right.
And one of the young ladies who was actually in Pro 100, I've got a picture of me with her when she's 13 years old. She was just entering her freshman year, and she got the most improved team member for her team that summer. She's now running our summer programs. Wow. She went to Marianne, she taught for a while, and now she's working.
That's so special.
So it's one of our students, Maria De Leon, got a full ride scholarship to Butler, and she's now working at Lilly.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So she's we actually have 2 students that are at Ben Davis this year who are going to be going to Notre Dame. 2 students, twin sisters. Their brother was in the program. They're both in the program. Both except, I mean, could you imagine this? And both of these girls are getting $30,000 scholarships a year from TeenWorks to assist them in their efforts there.
That's fantastic.
But we have staff that will follow them into college and stay in touch with them on a regular basis to make sure they're on track. Do they need anything? Because a lot of times these kids' parents aren't able to help them. They haven't been to college.
Right. Yeah.
And, these days, even if you have been to college, trying to fill out the financial aid paperwork.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a grant.
It's
like a grant.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they are mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling.
Yes.
So we help the students with those kinds of things.
That is
Great support.
that is, and it's
Yeah.
huge support because, like I said, filling those out because I've, yeah, it's not easy.
It isn't.
And they kind of don't make it.
They don't make it easy. Right.
It's almost like the first step of whether you can get into this program.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's the weeding out. But this program, my gosh, how fantastic! And
I'd say there's nothing that I am prouder of.
Yeah.
That this is something that was important to my dad.
Yes.
And I run into people now who are, in their 50s that went through the program in the 80s that will say, I remember your dad, and he'd come out to the sites and he would talk to me, and then he'd see the kids somewhere and he'd say, let's go get a soda. And he'd take them down to the drugstore and buy everybody a soda and something to eat. But it was just really caring about the students and making sure that everyone had the opportunity to live out their full potential. So I think that's sort of embedded in me as well.
Yeah.
How important that is.
Yeah.
It's home.
Well, I mean, not only that your father started it and you took it over and you're keeping it going. Yes, that's fantastically important, but it's the program.
It's the program. No, I mean,
my God.
Without the people that are at TeenWorks, the people that are actually working with the students, certainly I'll know a few, but I used to know a lot of the kids when it was 70 or 100 kids, but now it's 650. I don't know that many kids personally, but the staff, Nick Duval is our CEO. He's been amazing. We've had him for almost 6 years now. And he's developed a terrific staff who really cares about the kids. And I think knowing somebody's in your corner and that you've got that support who's telling you, yes, you can. You can do this. You can be this. And college is attainable for you.
Yeah.
It's really moving.
That to a young mind is so important because kids they can get turned real quick and get influenced real fast with negativity, especially
even when they're with their friends.
with anybody.
Well, sure.
With now social media and everything and all that going on where everybody's so much more connected, and that's good in some ways, very good. In other ways, they're reading stuff. They're, if they're getting bullied,
There's no fact checking.
they're still right. So, so I think, yes, to have the mentors and the support that, hey, what?
Kind of get you back on track.
Right on track, right?
How important it is to keep that connection as they're going through those early years in college.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so I, at the end of my freshman year, I had a 1.2 grade point average, and I got kicked out of Stevens.
Oh my gosh, you would never know. You would never.
Thank you. And I look so calm now. But what I look at is I had parents that went to college. I had parents that encouraged education. And, at 17, 18 years old, you don't know. Most people don't really know what they want to do. And it's easy to get off track. And I think had I not had the parents I did, I probably wouldn't have gotten back into school. I probably would have fallen through the cracks. And so I think that's why, for me, it's so important to make sure that there's somebody who has a hand out to help that student when they stumble, and to get them back and go, okay, that's fine. We all have challenges, but you can do this.
Right. Yeah. All right. We got to take a quick break.
Okay.
Thank you for your program and all the young minds that you've helped. Yeah. And we'll be right back with Marianne Glick.
Thanks for taking a little break from No Title Needed, one of my favorite podcasts. I'm Randy Sorrell. I hope you love some of my art that you are about to experience. Cheers. Fruit of the Vine is this one's title. That celebrates our love of wine and vineyards and historic maps and beautiful grapes. I think you would love this somewhere in your home. If you dig music, especially jazz or blues and small nightclubs or even the Palladium, you're really going to enjoy this rhythm and blues oil paintings. Just absolutely captures the character and the vibe of being in one of those fun clubs. Could I forget the name of the painting and the name of the vintage sheet music that's on this incredibly vibrant, energetic acrylic painting featuring a baby grand piano? Man, I love this. Oh, I love downtown Indy, and this is Monument Circle with the historic monument and Robert, Indiana's famous love sculpture. Acrylic painting. What a great way to celebrate your heritage.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to No Title Needed with our guest, Marianne Glick. You were telling us about the wonderful Teen Works. It used to be called Pro 100.
Yes.
But that your dad started and that you have continued, and it's grown to like 650 kids now, helping them with life and college and work and just being huge mentors to these underprivileged kids. And kudos to you. Brava. But you are also, right?
Well, it's something we have in common is we're both artists.
Yeah.
And I would like to hear a little bit more about your artwork.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I started painting after I sort of retired. So I was in my late 50s when I started painting. And my husband and I had bought a new house and wanted to have something besides posters on the wall. So I'd been ordering stuff on eBay, staying up till like 2 o'clock in the morning. And he goes, "Babe, you're getting addicted." So he said, "Do you think you could paint?" And I go, "I don't know. I never tried." My fourth grade teacher said I had no ability whatsoever. So it really hadn't dawned on me this might be something I'd want to do. So I started taking classes at the Indianapolis Art Center and learned how to use the paint. And the first couple of years I did mainly watercolors and flowers because I was a master gardener. So I had all these flowers in my garden in the summer that I'd take pictures of, and then I could paint it during the winter.
Oh.
And then I realized watercolor's really tough, and if you make a mistake,
so hard.
They go, "Oh, you can get back to the white." You cannot get back to the white.
Never.
I certainly couldn't get back to the white. So I started in acrylic paint, which is much more forgiving. You mess up, you can just go right over it. And then more recently, I've been using a lot of layering, so a lot of collage and stenciling in with my artwork. And so now I'm sort of interested, I've been fascinated with abstract kinds of faces in with the collage and stencil and lots of color. And I think maybe because of social media, the internet, we feel not as connected to people. And so for some reason, I just feel like people want to see a face. They want to have a connection. And because the faces are abstract, you can sort of put yourself into the face. It's not somebody. It could be me. I can see something of myself in this face. So I've been working on that recently.
Right.
And are you just doing this at home?
So I've got a studio. I've got a studio in my house. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know everybody says that watercolor is very, very difficult.
Very difficult.
And oil too.
It's funny that that's one of the first ones you start with in like elementary school art classes is watercolors.
Yes.
Well, because they're real easy.
Yeah.
You know, they don't take up a lot of room.
Yeah.
You have a little thing here and you can just put your brush in and a little water and you can paint.
Or the acrylics, you have all the tubes.
All the tubes.
Your tubes.
And you've got to clean it out and it kind of makes a mess. And
Yeah.
Definitely a cost element to that for sure.
yeah, there's definitely a cost element. And if it gets on your clothes, it never comes out.
So did you, okay, so you started doing all this, right? Now, how much do you have hanging in your house now? Of your stuff?
A lot.
You still have any of those posters though? That's the real
I actually do not have, there are no more posters left in the house. I've got a few pieces. So, you know, my mom was a collector and my mom collected glass and art. So I was able to keep a few of the pieces that were in my parents' home that had special meaning to me. So it's not all my art. I have some other people's art there.
Yeah, well, that you've obviously taken. Yes, you have to have that from your parents. I mean, that's important.
So has that turned into a bit of a passion for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love painting. Now, given the choice between am I going to do philanthropy or am I going to paint, I'll do philanthropy.
Yeah, you said when you retired. I'm like, what do you mean retire?
Yeah, well,
I'm like, did you really retire?
well,
What retire?
yeah. So I'm as busy as when I was working full time.
Right.
But every day I'm doing something that means a lot to me. I'm making the choice to do it. It's not like I have to go in. And plus, they're not paying me. So there's that.
Right.
But it's if you're able to make a difference. So my mission in life is to ignite, inspire, and direct energy for positive action.
Nice mission.
So
That's
your mission
stated.
That's
Yeah,
broad.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
But so the art, people are inspired by the art. I'm putting positive energy into the art.
Yeah.
If I'm working with children, if I'm working with women, if I'm helping you take the next step in your life, what can be better than that?
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like work.
Well, with those kids, right? With the organization, do they do visual art with the kids? Do they?
So the kids that
an
are
element?
interested in it, the kids that are interested in it, some of the students work at the Harrison Center. Some work at People for Urban Progress, where they're using recycled materials to make bags and things. So yes, that there's that opportunity if that's an interest of yours.
Well, when we're done here, we should talk about bringing some of those kids over to Brownhound for some lessons and
Yeah,
demonstrations.
because you could do pottery with them.
Oh my God, they love
He
that.
does steel work. He does welding.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
too off
idea.
topic, but we should talk after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're over there.
Great. Great.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. What were you going to talk about if she worked with another artist?
That was one of my next questions. Have you had very many collaborative experiences? And if so, what has been one of your favorite?
So I don't know if they'd be collaborative. Okay. I would say during COVID, artists from all over the world, you could hop on Zoom
Yes.
and take classes. So an artist that I met through that is in the UK. Her name is Louise Fletcher. And I'm still taking classes from her online.
It's an actress's name, Louise Flynn.
That's
I was just
right.
about to say, I know that name.
Played Nurse Ratched.
The Nurse Ratched.
Yes.
So this woman is not Nurse Ratched. She's a wonderful, and I would say her style in the last 5 years, 6 years, has influenced me more than anyone else. So she also, that's how I started doing more collage and working on wood panels. And then she has a thing where she sands through the layers, so you get really interesting textured effects, and stuff will pop out that you didn't know was going to pop out. So it's you're like going on an adventure when you do these paintings. And so she's been a big influence.
That's pretty cool, that all those elements together. I mean, I kind of like that.
Oh, yeah. Mixed media is my go-to.
Well, because you can go up to the painting and you see one thing when you're far away, but then you get closer and go, oh, I didn't see that. And there's little words in there and just things, maybe a picture that you hadn't seen that's in there. I just find that fascinating.
Well, that's what art is visual. It's to really explore the piece of art.
You know, it's good art when you can zoom in, and it's still interesting. You know, versus sometimes some of the stuff is like, I'd rather you take a step back.
Yeah, well, sometimes you don't want to zoom in, but that's not my art. So
Cleveland. You obviously you born and raised. I mean, Indianapolis is your home, your roots.
yes.
Was your dad, your parents born here?
So my mom was born in Detroit, but my dad was born here in Indianapolis. And my mom moved to Indianapolis when she was 17.
Okay.
So yes, our
pretty deep
family's been here.
roots. Yes, and all of the buildings. This lesson with that have your father's name on them. That's pretty great.
Special.
That's pretty great because all those buildings, like the historical society, that building is, and the stuff they do in there and everything.
And I think he'd be really pleased to see a lot of the exhibits that they've had in there and how many children are going and really getting educated and being able to see like the little rooms that they have that you go back in time.
Yes. Yes.
That, I mean, so
Yes.
it brings history to life.
Yes. Yes. I like that too. Like
Yeah.
living live history. It's interesting to me. We have to wrap it up.
Okay.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You're very interesting. Thank you for everything you've done. And thank you to your late father for everything that he did in this area and that you're continuing to do for young people, for the future, really,
Our future.
our future,
Right.
future, you know? So that's pretty important. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Marianne Glick. I'm Cynthia Collins still.
And I'm still Scott Osborne.
Yeah, always and forever. But thanks for joining us. Come on over. See a cabaret at Feinstein's. Gorgeous space. Get some, great cocktails, wonderful bartenders here, and some fabulous entertainment. They have a wide variety.
I had one of the best hamburgers recently here, too. The food is phenomenal.
And hamburgers.
Yeah.
Yes, hamburgers and cocktails and wonderful entertainment right here at Feinstein's. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.